Here are my favorite jump spots and lines of sight on Tuscan. You know what to do, so let's hop right in. So starting off on the church side, really quick, if you hop on this tank over here and hop on these boxes, this is a very effective spot in hardpoint and control to pick off anyone trying to hit the backside to P2 or the B control zone. Alternatively, you can use this half wall to get up here too. Also, if you jump back onto this tank, you can actually see the outer wolf statue area from here. It's of course more effective with a sniper, but if you have a high magnification scope on your AR, you can get a pick here. This spot is definitely good for S&D. Moving on to this truck back here, you can hop on top of it and see clearly onto anyone coming out of P5 onto plat. You can also use this lower part as well. Heading over to P2 in hardpoint and the B zone in control, you may have seen this spot if you watch the CDL, but you can jump onto this door frame over here. What's great about this spot is that you can capture both the hardpoint and the control point from up here. I've taken tons of people by surprise from this spot as people aren't really looking up here when they're coming in. You also have a great view of radio, back alley, and the back spawn. Now to get up here, you're gonna hop onto the base of the pillar, and I found that it's most effective if you look down at the frame while you're jumping. Moving up to top plat, this is another spot that you've probably seen used in the CDL, but you can use this windowsill as a place to stand and a great way to pick off anyone trying to hit through plat. To get up here, you're gonna hop onto this half wall, and if you push up to this flower pot, you'll see that you get a slight elevation. So when you sprint from back here and then strafe jump at the last moment, you'll be able to stick the landing. Just be careful not to press your jump button as you hit the window. That's because you can bounce right off of it, and since you're not mantling anything, you don't need to press your jump button again. You can just stick the landing. You can also hop on this window and see anyone hitting through the backside as well as anyone approaching the alley. Alternatively, if you want to watch over the back, you can use these flower pots to jump onto this tree, and this truck offers a great heady while you're looking over the entire backside. Now if we cut across the church, if you're trying to break P2 or the B control zone without using the church door, you can jump onto this pew back here and then hop onto the crease in the tarp over here, and from here you have a great vantage point with a heady on people who like to sit in that corner while they're capturing the zone. Now heading to the back of this church, if you hop onto this flower pot and then the tree, you're going to back up a little bit and then you can actually get onto this one as well. This offers a great head glitch and a view of the field side. Granted, you are exposed on this side, but they're not really going to expect you to be up here and you can take them by surprise. Heading up into top church, if you stand on this railing over here, you can peek into the mid-map entrance from well, and this is a great line of sight in S&D because a lot of people like to hit through mid from the well. Now staying up here, I have an extremely odd and situational spot, and it's over in this corner of top church balcony, where you can walk along the entire outside of it. The only reason I can see anyone needing to use this is if maybe you're getting chased and want to throw someone off, or if you want to watch top church from an extremely exposed position, but one that they will not expect. Either way, it's good to know that you can do it, and it's kind of a fun spot. Another highly situational spot, but one that I've actually used on the fly and found success with, is if this church door is open to the outside. From top broken, you can actually strafe jump onto it and catch anyone in the P2 area or on the plat side. This might actually be good in S&D to just clear that area before you try to plant the bomb. Now heading into mid-map, if you've ever tried to get to top fire from these boxes, you know that it's one of the most frustrating things. So a faster way to get up here without needing to deal with the shutter mechanic is to hop onto these boxes here and jump straight onto this ledge and right into fire. Moving on, heading into well, this is one of my favorite areas because it's full of jump spots. The first is to get to top fire from down here. You're going to start by running along this half wall and you're going to aim for the horse statue. And from here, you're going to back up a little bit, get a full sprint, and jump into top fire. Just make sure that while you're making the jump, you're pointing upward toward the railing. Now, you don't need to use the half wall. You can actually get onto the well from the ground by just jumping onto the base and then making sure that you're trying to mantle on one of the two sides with the horses. But I found that if I'm rushing through mid-map, this is a much faster way to get up here. Now, the next spot is if you jump off of the well onto this tree in the corner over here. This is a great place to catch anyone coming out of bottom P5 or anyone top fire. Now, from top fire, you can actually jump into this window. You're just going to sprint forward and jump at the last moment, and you should be able to land onto it without needing to mantle. This is a great way to break P5, especially if they're in this nook area. They don't usually expect you to make this jump. And you can do this the other way around. You can jump from the window onto top fire, but it's much more difficult and not as useful. Alternatively, you can actually get through the window from the well. You're going to strafe jump onto this invisible ledge, and then you're going to strafe to the right, and then jump to the left and then quickly turn to the right again in order to mantle it from the side. It's especially useful in hardpoint if you aren't spawning on the roof side, and instead of going through bottom steps where there's always someone on those stairs, you can make this jump instead. Now moving on to top fire, if these planks are still intact and you jump onto the frame, you can keep hopping and you'll inch your way up to get a great sight line on top broken. It's a great line of sight for S&D as there's always someone top church or top broken. Speaking of these planks, if you break through them, you have a clear view on the wolf statue, which is great for hardpoint and control. Now while we're up here, I have two great spots to guard these steps from both sides. The first is on this table for anyone coming up the steps, and the second is if you make these jumps onto this planter, if you crouch down, you have a great view on anyone coming right out of the door and they will not expect you there. They're of course both highly situational, and more than anything they're just off angles that can catch your opponents off guard. Speaking of trees you can stand on, instead of using this heady to defend P3, you can actually hop onto this tree back here and you have a good off angle for anyone coming in through Zig. They're probably throwing all their tacticals and lethals at that heady, so this is a nice off angle where you can avoid all of those. Now although this is a good spot, you are pretty exposed, so I actually use this heady instead. I find that opponents have a harder time getting me off of this heady than the typical one that everyone uses. From here you also have a good view of anyone coming down from top fire. Now heading over into field, if you hop onto this tree, you can actually see over these walls into the field. It's primarily good for gaining information, but I've seen people get kills from up here as well. You might just need to jump shot. You can actually use this tree as well, which I actually prefer because it has a clearer view on the outer statue. But that about does it for Tuscan. If you have any secret spots you'd like to share, put them in the comments below. Otherwise, check out this video where I go over my favorite jump spots and lines of sight on Gavutu. I'll see you tomorrow on day 30 of 30 of posting every day. You know what to do. My name is Drew, this was Sablehound, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, I want to be famous.